Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to RV online classes. In this session, you are going to learn the remaining part of the lesson, the touch. First, I want to read the lesson. To sit close to father is to revive a faint memory of childhood when he took my hand into his hand and stroked it with love. The longing I had felt as a child for such a touch flooded my inner being and tears welled up in my eyes. I choked. I couldn't speak. Would he understand that I had once longed for his loving touch? Perhaps all the love and affection that had flowed between us in letters evaporated at his sharp, intense look whenever face to face. In childhood, I used to avoid him to escape his piercing glances that had hurt like scalding sunrise. Now, though I knew that they had been extinguished, why was I still able to feel free with him? The first time I visited him in his illness, I had noticed bugs on the cot. I had picked up a couple of them and silently crushed them under my foot. Later, my husband noticed a bug on our bed and had been upset. I told him that it had probably crept into my clothes when I had sat on my father's bed. As I was leaving that day to visit my father, my husband cautioned me not to sit on my father's bed but to pull up a chair and sit a little away. As I pulled my chair away, father asked me to sit closer to him. How could I not? He was not happy until I was almost leaning against him and had his hands in mine. Father had longed for sons all his life, but was now left with only his daughters. At the fag end of his life, he had all lost his grown up son, the perpetuator of his name. Perhaps that is what destiny means. When my brother died, I had hesitated to face my father. Some unknown feeling of guilt had held me back. I had felt like taking him in my arms and reassuring him, saying, "Don't worry, I am here." But I hesitated even to touch him. That's how I had been raised. After I chatted with him for a while, me to clip his nails. Asking mother to be it would be as useless as the mortar weeping on the shoulders of the drum. My brothers were not alive to do it, nor were his children around. Not that he couldn't ask my sister in law, but perhaps he wanted me to do something for him. I was elated and did the job carefully. Perhaps father was feeling distressed, opened my hand and said, "It would be so nice if you moved into this town. I could stay with you." I looked at him helplessly. breathlessly. I looked, he couldn't see. I couldn't reassure him with words either. Father did not speak again and was silent as he stroked my hand. At that moment, my education, my job, and everything else appeared vain and superficial. I saw a while before leaving. As I returned in the rickshaw, father's tender touch haunted me. Tears welled in my eyes and blurred my view of the road. Okay, before starting the explanation, I want to recall what you learned in the last class. Here, the story traces the relationship between father and his daughter in a Orthodox Hindu family. The father is now 80 years old. His daughter is a middle-aged lady. She is married to a man of the same town, but now residing in another nearby town. By hearing her mother-in-law was not feeling well, she wanted to spend some time with uh, mother-in-law. She came to that town. Meanwhile, she want to meet her father. She came to her father house. Then she called her father, and while she is sitting distant from the court, because she raised in that orthodox way, so she is feeling or she is hesitating to touch her father. Up to here we completed. Now, to sit close to father is revive a faint memory of childhood. See here, to sit close to her father, revive means come or bring back to consciousness. Faint means not strong or slightly. Memory of childhood. When he took my hand into his hand and stroked it with love, he took her hand in his hand and stroked the hands of that writer with love. The longing I had felt as a child for such touch flooded my inner being and tears welled up in my eyes. See her by when her father touched her hands, she went back to her childhood. While she was a child, she is having a desire to touch such loving touch, but he always kept her distant by in the name of discipline and muddy. So she flooded means overflow, and by remembering that one, her eyes get tears and valued. I choked. She gets surprised. I couldn't speak. She's not able to speak. Would he understand that I had once longed for his loving touch? She is thinking whether he is going to understand when I felt that I want to have a loving touch of my father when I was a child. Perhaps all the love and affection that had followed between us in the letters evaporated. See here, she is thinking, okay, what I am thinking is getting disappeared. Evaporated. See here, she is thinking, okay, what I am thinking is getting disappeared. Evaporated means disappeared. At his sharp intense means having or showing a strong feeling or look whenever he came face to face. She want to speak, but she is getting afraid of that about that discipline as well as muddy. So she is feeling very intense. Intense means showing strong feeling of that when they came to face. Even in early childhood, I used to avoid him to escape his piercing glances that had hurt like a scorching sun rays. See here, she is saying, even when she was a child, she is avoiding her father, uh, avoid him to escape his piercing. Piercing means go far into like a spear, and glances means take a brief or hurried look. Take a brief or hurried look that had hurt like a scorching. Scorching means very hot sun rays. Now, though I knew that they had been extinguished, means now put out or wipe out. Extinguished means put out or wiped out. Why means why was I still unable to feel free with him? Now she is middle aged and her father is already aged. Now his age is already 80 years. Still she is not able to see face to face. The first time I had visited to him in his illness, I had noticed bugs on the cot. See here, once he was ill. At that time, she visited her father. She noticed bugs. Bugs means here insects on the cot. I had picked up a couple of them and silently crushed. Crushed means demolished or smashed them under my foot. What she done? She picked that bug and she smashed them under her foot. Later, my husband noticed a bug on our bed and had been upset. After she went to her home, and while she was in her bed, her husband noticed a bug, so he had been upset. I told him that it for this bed. She said that okay, the bugs crept into my cloth while I sat on my father's bed. This time, as I was leaving that day to visit my father, my husband cautioned me not to sit on my father's bed, but to pull up a chair and sit a little away. So, this time, while she is moving to her father's house, her husband cautioned means say something as a warning not to sit on your father's bed, but you do one thing, pull a chair and sit little away from your father's bed. As I pulled my chair away, father asked me to sit closer to him. As soon she pulled the chair, he said, why you are sitting away from me? And he asked her to sit closer to him. How could I not? He was not happy until I was almost leaning against him and had his hand in mine. So what she done? She sat to nearer to her father. Leaning means tendency against him. So and what she done? She took her father's hand in her hands. Father had longed her for sons all of his life, but was now no left with only his daughters. Now he is not having his sons, only daughter left. At the fag end of the his life, he had lost his grown-up son. Perhaps that is what then destiny means when my brother died. So here destiny means fate. When her her brother died, I had hesitated to face my father. Hesitated means to hold back in doubt, to hold back in doubt. To face her father, she does not have that courage to face. Some unknown feeling of guilty had held me back. Some unknown guilty had held her to face her father. I had felt like taking him in my arms and reassuring him, saying, "Don't worry, I am here." See her, she is feeling bad. She want to reassure. Reassure means serving are intended to remove the someone doubts or fears by saying, "Don't worry, I am here." But she hesitated even to touch him. That's how she had been raised, because while from the childhood she kept distant from her father. While her brother died, also she felt very guilty. After I chatted with him for a while, he asked me to clip his nails. After some time, now her father asked her to clip his nails, means cut the nails. Asking mother to do it would be as useless as the motor beeping on the shoulder of the drum. And she is saying, if her father asked his wife, means her mother is useless. She is giving one comparison, motor beeping on the shoulder of the drum. My brothers were not alive to do it, nor were his children around. Not that he couldn't ask my sister in law, but perhaps he wanted me to do something for him. See here, after chatting some time, he asked her to clip the nails, and she is giving one more example, asking her mother is how means motor is weeping on the shoulder of the drum, and the brothers was not alive, and there is no children, and asking sister-in-law is also not possible. So he asked her to clip the nails, and she done that one with carefully. Perhaps father was feeling depressed. He stroked my hand and said, it would be so nice if you moved into the town." Now he is feeling depressed and he is saying, "If you moved to this city, I could live with you." I looked at him helplessly. She looked at him helplessly. A look he couldn't see. I couldn't reassure him with words either. Father did not speak again and was silent as he stroked my hand. Here she is helpless, so she looked helplessly, and the father also not able to speak for some time, and everything was silent, and he stroked her hand. At that moment, my education, my job, and everything else appeared vain and superficial. Everything became waste. I sat for a while before leaving. Here she is thinking, even though I am educated, even though I am doing the job, but I am not able to help my father. By thinking like this, she felt very bad. As I returned in the rickshaw, father's tender touch haunted me. See her, while from she's childhood, she wants the tender touch. But on those days, he is not given that touch. Now she got that one, and she that is haunted her. Tears welled in my eyes and blurred my view of the road. Tears came by thinking about that one. Her eyes are filled with the tears and blurred the view. Blurred means unable to see or not clear. So we completed this lesson. I hope you understood. Now I want to write the meanings. View. Bring back. Consciousness. Next one. Faint. Not strong. Or clear. Or slight. Longing. Longing means have strong wish. Or desire. For. Flooded. Overflow. Flooded means overflow. Evaporated. Evaporated. Here, disappear. Intense. Having or showing strong feelings. Piercing. Go through. Or into. Next one, scorching. Scorching means very hot. Scorching means very hot. Next one, extinguisher. Put out, wipe out. Extinguisher means put out or wiped out. Crusher. Crusher means here demolition or smashing. Demolition or smashing. Next one, caution. Say something. Say something as a warning. Means say something as a warning. Next one, leaning. Leaning means tendency or tendency. Next one, hesitated. Hesitated means to hold back. Hold back in doubt. Or indecision. Mortar. Mortar means pounding vessel. Clip means here to cut. Next, destiny means fate. Blurred. Blurred, please. Unable to see. Or not clear.
I hope you understood the lesson. Thank you. Have a nice day.